It's sound on, sound on, because we once again continue to talk about our favorite athletics department here on Sportswire Radio. And it's good to have our guest here back with us because it feels like it's been a hot skip in a minute, mostly on my end, not so much on his end. And of course, he has done a great job here with our Five Town Sound men's basketball team. The guys won a couple of games in a row to end the winter break, and they're getting ready to resume the second half of the season with some huge conference games coming up here starting this Sunday. They'll be in action against Fisher and a slew of home games in the month of February. He's going to talk about it here and some. He has done a phenomenal job here. He has been the coach now for our Five Town Sound men's basketball team for over 5 years, and he's going to talk about the keys, everything else in between to where we go back into the USCAAs here in 2024. Our guest needs no further introduction, but because many of his peers at Five Towns have gotten that introduction and he has not been on Sportswire Radio in about 2 years, it's time for him to get that introduction that everybody else has gotten and some. And I think also because the introduction has been much better since the last time, and even the first time especially, he came on here. So with that, without further ado here on the Sports Report, number one global sports show, the head coach of our Five Town Sound men's basketball team, Coach, Happy New Year! Long time to speak.
Show over?
Well, Coach, I'm surprised you actually. In fact, I'm actually amused that you gave that answer. We'll obviously get into a lot about the sound, but usually the guests have been coming on show after show, and especially obviously your colleagues and Coach Litwin and Coach Facina, and they're like, "Wow, these intros are so great." And you were like, "Is the show over?" I mean, it could end because most people, the running joke is, Coach, is that they only listen for the intro and then they just move on afterwards.
Well, I have to go fix the 2 windows that you just broke, so we got to make it quick.
Well, my running joke is, Coach, people ask me, I have a lot of wrestlers come on the platform. They say, "Oh, is anybody ever bothered by your intros?" And I say, "Well, my neighbors are dead people. I live across the street from a cemetery." So like, okay, never mind. Even for the wrestlers, they're like, let's move on here. But Coach, it has been a long time since we have had you on Sportswire Radio. It has been 2 years, and there's a lot to talk about here, especially with our men's basketball team. And we've got a couple of wins in a row to go on break, but we return coming up here this Sunday in action against Fisher. And talk about some of the keys you've seen here early on in the season, which has led us to be right where we are, primed and poised, I think, for a big second half and enter those USCAs, as I brought up here, for those that are listening and watching on Sports Wire Radio.
Long story short, overall, pretty happy, Tommy. Non-league schedule was pretty tough. Every game was where, there was a game with 5 minutes to go, except for the purchase game. No excuses. You got a butt kick that day, but the wins, the losses, everything. They've all been tight. And we've been playing well. We've been getting better. So we're happy. But now comes the hard part. Because we get that extended break, almost a 3-week break. So it's we got to start the thing all up again. It's not like. You took a nap and got up again. Nope, we got to start all over again. So that's the little tough part, but we'll do it. We'll be okay.
Yeah, I'm curious about that. It's interesting that you mentioned that because we had obviously Coach Litwin came on the show 2 weeks ago, and Coach Facina came on after that. And they had breaks, but it was kind of quirks due to certain scheduling cancellations, different things. But you guys had this long break. Obviously we've done work in the Skyline and the CUNY, and they get the break. They get the winter break, but the winter break's usually anywhere between, let's say, 12 to let's say 17 days. But you guys, it's been like almost a month. I mean, like, why that break so long, and how do you get the play? Because you guys won 2 games in a row to go on break, so the momentum was there. Because I would imagine, Coach, if it was up to you and the guys, you would want it to have kept playing because you ended on a high note.
Yeah, it's just the whole logistics of it all. Whatever day we finished, it was the week before finals, so we really don't want to be playing games during finals week. Finals end, and now we're right into a couple days before Christmas, so you really can't do anything then. We have kids who live out of state. Philippe's in Poland, and Ahmad's in North Carolina.
I was gonna say, I imagine Charlotte. Yep.
So it's not like if you're in a commuter school, guys are home. So that now takes us to January. Now the school's closed to the end of the month. So now we get into the problem, like, your school can't really just open for, 10 basketball players. So, they accommodate us and say, all right, we'll let you back in, the second week of January. Or whatever it is, when we came back on the 8th, and we'll take 5 days to practice, and then we'll play on the 13th. So, it is what it is. That's what we are. That's what it is. And, deal with it. We're not going to cry about it, not going to complain about it, but you got to do it.
No, look, everybody has their own issues, sure. But let me ask you the question. Obviously, you guys win the 2 games going into the break. So, obviously, we feel good about that. We're back at 500. We've got these slew of games. So, how would we then, when we return to action coming up here this Sunday, how would we build off those wins? I know it's hard because, again, Philippe is in Poland, Ahmed's in North Carolina. I'm sure you talk to them, but there's only so much you can do through a phone call or a Zoom. But in terms of building off those 2 wins, how do we build off them to where we want to be, which is in the USCAAs?
We're starting over. It's been a month. We're starting over. We're coming back, and we're coming back sick. Tyler's not feeling well. The couple other, things that go on in life with some of the kids that just aren't back yet. Everybody's fine, but they're just not back yet. So, like, Saturday's going to be kind of a little bit of a mash unit, but we'll get through. And the following Saturday is a league game, which is important against Word of Life. So, again, it's gone. That's 3 weeks ago, man. That's over. That's over. We got to. It's basically we got to start again. You got to just start over again. Things we were doing, they forgot. That bad habits will pick up. Good habits will. Got to restart it.
Let me ask you a follow-up on that, because it's interesting in a way, because obviously, we speak with a lot of different people on Sportswire over the years, and obviously you've been here, quite a bit in the past. Maybe that's a good thing in a way. Sometimes, you think about some of the things you did wrong on the court. You think about those, you overthink them. Sure, the good things were great. Obviously we've had some big wins. We're going to definitely get to the Mount St. Vincent game, and we're going to definitely talk about that. We'll definitely talk about some key players, some familiar names here and familiar faces on the platform for sure. But maybe that's good in a way, because you almost, like you said, you're starting from scratch, you're starting from zero. And, maybe if you did some things you weren't happy with on the court, whether it was a turnover, whether it was, you missed an open layup or whatever it might be, maybe that's kind of a good thing, because it allows you to kind of basically do the things that in a team sense that can allow us to get where we want to be, which again, as I continue to say, is eventually the USCAAs.
Yeah, it's too long of a break. It's just too long.
It's a month. I mean, listen, not to go, if you're going to ask me, and you could say nothing on this, I'm sure Gercio can hear this. I hope he hears it, actually. As the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station where all wrestling matters, the Reverend Tom Bryce, these breaks are ridiculous. I mean, you can't expect to have a season and play 30. I mean, I got to be honest, like, say nothing, December 13th to January 13th, I'm not good at many things, but a 31-day layoff, I mean, that's like a joke. I mean, that's like, I CYO and AAUs don't even have nowhere near the kind of break as that. I mean, to me, it's like I would have thought 18 days. All right, I give you that, but 31 days, and then on top of that, looking at the schedule, you guys only play once a week for the next 3 weeks, so you play 3 games in the month of January. And you didn't play a game going into this weekend, 31 days. So realistically speaking, we're going to play a grand total between now and the end of the month. We're going to play a grand total of 3 games. That's right, 3 games in 52 days. I never heard that before.
simple answer. It is what it is.
I understand. I understand. You got to get the politically correct answer.
I mean,
but
no, it's not politically correct. There's nothing really we could do about it.
No, I got that. Your schedule's on there. Teams don't want to play. I get it.
That's the thing. Our league is so small, you can't really get any non-league games here in January because everyone's in their league season. So it's hard. It's hard to schedule games then too. So
but I feel like, again, this was a topic in a way, and I think it's worse here in a sense with the women's and men's teams. And again, Jason and Jeff, just like you're not going to make excuses. I get that. I can say it because, again, I'm not in the USCA. I'm not employed by the school. But to me, how do you get a familiarity with the team and the league and the games you're going to play when you only play the amount of games? And it's bizarre. I mean, obviously, again, certainly, we want to take care of the games that we have at hand. I'm sure we'll come back to some of those things in the Keys. We'll definitely look forward to what we see coming up here for sure this weekend against Fisher. We have games coming up the 20th and the 27th, all Saturday games here. Most of these games coming forward. Good news is going to be streamed on the Five Town Sound Athletics page, which we actually put the link up here for the men's basketball team, which gives you links to scheduling, statistics, players, all that great stuff. And also, please follow our Five Town Sound Athletics program on Instagram at 5towns_sound. As always, sound on here on Sportzwire Radio with our beloved Five Towns Athletics program. So let's talk about a couple things here, a couple moments here in the Mount St. Vincent win, Coach. Obviously, we spoke about, some of the, controversial things here, second about the scheduling, but to get a win against Mount St. Vincent, this is a program I've obviously covered quite a bit. It's certainly a place that we know that we can win and establish. And for the team going forward, and maybe for this season, how big of a win was that? And kind of in a way, looking back, if there's one thing we're going to look back on, certainly we want to make sure we look back on that Mount St. Vincent win, but talk about how big that win was for this team going forward into 2024.
Well, it was good, and I guess it kind of legitimizes you that, you could play with some of the teams in that league. Let's give them all the credit in the world. They played us. There are other guys who won't play us, and they
we won't name them. We know they are.
Whatever.
And they are.
And they came to our place too, which purchased us. So I have all the respect in the world for those guys. I don't know if they need a game, but it's not. They're supposed to beat us and things like that. So, the first thing I want to say that, and I respect the heck out of both those coaches in the programs there for playing us. We played well. We played a really good game. Actually, we played a game before that against Vermont Tech. It was a USCA school who's always ranked.
Only lost by 5, I think. And you were right there in that game. That was a game you could have won.
Well, we played better that game.
I think we spoke about that game off the air. That was a game you were upset about that game because I remember correctly. You spoke to me before that game, and you were like, we should have won that one.
We had a double-digit lead with 6 minutes left, but we played well. I played well for 35 minutes. So like us right from the start. So we played well. Every game's been a nail biter, but yeah, it looks good on that the Mount St. Vincent. But it's all of them look good. We were in a game at Cheney. We could have lost. Tyler Bond fouls out, and we got the ball back with 2 seconds left with a chance to tie it. The Blue Lights College game, that's the team that beat North Carolina's JV to start off the year. Went to overtime with them. So they've all been good. But just the Mount St. Vincent's because they're local and people have heard of them, and it's the skyline. So yeah, it's nice. It's
Mount St. Vincent is a program we've covered on Sportzwire, and I know a guy who played there.
Again, I give them all the credit for doing that though. So and we played well that day. We played well. So.
Let me ask you. You guys win that game. I mean, I know what your answer is going to be, but did the players feel that it was a special type of win? Did they feel afterwards that there was a significance of that win defeating an NCAA Skyline team?
Yeah. I'm going to rewind it again. I forced that into them, especially in the non-league schedule. So let's play well. Let's do what we do. We played a game against Warren. I think we won by 30 or 20.
Yeah, 27, I think.
I thought we played horrible.
Really?
We played terrible. We were awful. So, you just got to feel good about what you did
I mean, there's things that we want to do. About not turning the ball over, about not getting out rebounded, things like that, closeouts, taking charges, 50-50 balls, deflections, things like that we chart.
And if we do these things, we'll always be in a game. So that's the point, and that's the mindset, and then the mindset of anyone can be a leading scorer every night. With a team mentality. So that's really
what we're looking for more than, hey, I beat him, I beat them, they beat us. I mean, it's not what I'm trying to preach. That's what we're trying to get over their head. It's just let's
you do you. Or we do us, or whatever. How you put it. Us do us. We do. You know what I mean.
That was funny. I have to say, you always bring the humor. That's why I always love having you on over the years, because it's always different. I love Jason and I love Jeff, and we obviously look forward to having Corey back on after the season, because Corey now is certainly saying we want to have come on Sportswire, but obviously he's got his own things, and we'll certainly look forward to his side of the story much. But I always feel like you bring a sense of humor, a kind of a different perspective to the show, so I always enjoy that very much. But let me ask you a follow-up on that, because you said something interesting
about that. Let me tell you something about that quick.
Sure.
Ron joke, and you can hear the guys who've left, Nigel Brathwaite and Damani and Kyrie.
Yep.
And when new kids come in, I tell them, I said, guys, listen, a recruit, I said, I am the nicest, funniest guy for 22 hours a day.
Uh-oh.
Those 2 hours you're in the gym with me.
Well, thank God. Listen, I've known you now for about 4 years. Thank God I'm not in that gym with you in those 2 hours, and I only get you here on Sportswire, and I kind of get either the post-mortem or the great news afterwards. But let me ask you a question.
The guys who graduate then just smile at.
But he's not lying about that.
Well, I will bring up Damani actually in a little while, because I wanted to ask you a thought or two on him. Obviously, he's trying to play professionally, do everything like that. But I'll come back to him. But you said something interesting, and I thought it was a good kind of thing to come back to, because I feel like when you talked about the turnovers, we'll get into that with the rebounds, with the free throw percentage, all that stuff. Do you feel like, and I know it's hard sometimes because the long break and you don't get players for a long time to be able to kind of practice with them and things like that, but are you trying to, you think, in order for this team to, let's say, win the Hudson Valley Intercollegiate Athletic Conference going into the USCAs, that you'd like to build an identity for this team? And if so, do you feel like we're getting near that identity for what this team needs to be, how you'd like to have it, and so we can, in order to where we need to be, have that identity to win?
It's getting there. I think it's getting there. I think people know that
especially coming into our little cute little
bandbox, that it's probably
you're not gonna have an easy night. You may
win, but you're not gonna have an easy night. I think we've gotten to that point that
it's no one's chalking up a W right away without seeing us. So
again, baby steps.
We're still building.
But it's a tough investment. Listen, playing in at home in our court is still a tough place to play, because, like you said, it's almost like a bandbox where it's maybe you don't have like 500 fans, but with the people that show up, they're loud. Because I watch these games on our stream. Obviously, we've put the link below for our 5-town athletics department for the men's basketball team, and these games are loud. So if you're a team that comes in here and thinks, "Oh, okay, I'm playing 5 towns, I don't know who's going to be there in the game," no, because we know the kind of style you like to play. You want to play that hectic, frenetic place, and then on top of that, you got that home environment where you get people to show up, whether it's boosters, alumni, whether it's supporters, whether it's obviously everybody else involved here with the team. It's a very, very tough environment, and I think that's going to work for us here also, because we have a lot of home games coming up, especially in that month of February, and I would think, Coach, that's going to work to our advantage here, especially on where we need to be.
Yeah, well, familiarity of being
home and your rims, and we get a lot of support.
Kids who live local, families there. I have friends that
go there. Yeah, whatever. But those whatever it is, 50, 7,500 people that are there in that tight little thing, it gets loud in there.
It's loud. Listen, I watch these games. I've been to places that have 3 to 4 times the size of the venue with the gym, and I've watched these 5 towns games. It gets loud. I mean, you even hear, whoever's on the call. I mean, whether it's Aaron, whether it's Sydney, it gets loud. I mean, so it's almost a tough place to play, because you don't realize it and then you're actually there playing in it, it's a tough little place there. I think that's why we have a lot of home games coming up. That's going to certainly, I think, work into our favor. In fact, I think the next 2 games, we have Word of Life and Fisher. We're both at home. Then we have a stretch in February right before the season ends. We're back at home. I think that's a big thing for this team.
And the conference tournament is that
Yep.
one place.
Yeah, always.
You have to make first, but
Third straight year in a row, by the way, that we have the home tournament here at Five Towns. That's a huge thing. And shout out to everybody that made that possible. Certainly yourself, obviously Matt, Dr. Cohn, certainly Coach Vicina, everybody that's involved here. That's a big deal for us. We have motivations. We know if we take care of business, we're going to be home anyway. We don't have to travel no more. I think that's a huge thing for us. And I think we're very excited about this team. And I want everybody to, again, to follow the Five Towns Sound Athletics program. You can check, they are on Facebook. Check them out at 5 Towns Sound, but most importantly, check them out on Instagram at 5 Towns_Sound. And if you want to follow information or find out things about the team, I've actually put the link here below for our athletics program, athletics.ftc.edu/sports /MBKB /2023-2024. It's got the long list of things here. I'm just going to basically put it there for you. You want to check it out. Go support the 5 Towns Sound Athletics Department, especially the men's basketball team, with our dear friend, Mr. Coach Gregg Drzal. Coach is entering his 6th year at 5 Towns. He has done a phenomenal job here with the program. He has recruited a who's who of players and some players that are familiar faces we're going to get to, and some new players who are doing a great job here for us and keeping us right where we need to be, especially after we won our last 2 games, entering that too long winter break. But we're going to be back in action here coming up this Saturday against Fisher. The following week, we're at Word of Life, and we're back on the road the 27th of January at Bucks Community College. So a lot of games ahead. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. I'm the host of the Sports Report, the owner of Sportswire Radio, the #1 global radio station. And before we get to Coach, I want to thank the athletics department for giving us this opportunity. Once again, I want to thank the athletics department for all of their support of Sportswire Radio, because we are entering our 5-year anniversary on January the 25th, and 5 Towns has been here almost since the beginning, and I want to thank the athletics department for continuing to think of Sportswire and giving us great opportunities to speak with Coach Drzal. Coach, obviously, let's talk about some players here. Obviously, we'll get into some of the keys going forward in the second half, but I got to talk about a guy that we've obviously spoke about a lot in the past, maybe the most of all the players we've had on here, Robert Williams. Robert is entering his last year. He has meant so much, I know, to this team and to you personally. And talk about what he's meant here to this team and everything that he brings, I think, maybe more so off the court. He's a player we spoke about a lot off the air and on the air, but talk to me about the importance of having Robert Williams here and why we are right where we're about to be, I think, in winning those HVIAC and we're going into the USCAA.
Very, very special young man. I'm going to lose him after this year. I
almost get choked up talking about him, thinking about that already.
Don't choke me up here on Sportswire, Coach.
Probably, and he had the COVID.
Yeah, so Drzal's 5th year.
Yep.
Hello, goodbye, yes, Coach. I think those are the only things he's ever said to me. There are probably a couple other things, but really that's it. Hello, Coach. Goodbye, Coach. Yes, Coach. He's no nonsense, man. He's no nonsense. Rob, see that wall, go through it? Yes, Coach. No problem, Coach. That's it. He's a leader in that. He's not your get up in your face. He's not your rah-rah type of kid. It's just not his personality. But unselfish. Way he cares about the team. We played a game at Cheney. We lost the game by 1, and Tyler Baum fouled out. We played great. At the end of the game, I spoke to Assistant Roy, and I said, boy, Rob played great tonight. I said, God, he was amazing tonight. And I don't think he scored a point. He might have had a basket. Had a little rebounds, picking up charges, diving for loose balls. He played his zone. He was just fun. He maybe not getting assists, but he made the pass that led to the pass that got the assist. And that's that kid he is. Had a couple games where, he plays a lot where things were rolling with somebody else on the court. And he didn't play as much as he did. I talked to him after. I said, Rob, I'm sorry. He says, he looks at me like I had 4 eyes in him. I said, Coach, no problem. We won. So that's the type of kid he is. And a coach's dream. Coach's dream.
I know we spoke a lot about Damani and Kyrie in the past, but a guy like Robert, I feel like we're going to really miss his void. Not so much for, like you said, in the stat sheet, but he set an example of professionalism. He set an example of somebody that went out there and led by how his actions were, not so much by his words. I mean, in the overall grand scheme of the program, he is one of the most important people we'll have here, because I think he set the example, and he's going to show the players that are going to be here next year and beyond that Robert is somebody that we need to emulate by kind of how he was on, and certainly, most certainly, off the court.
Definitely. And whereas Damani felt Kyrie, I think Rob picked a lot of that up from
Nigel Brathwaite.
Yep, Nigel was definitely somebody we spoke a lot about here in the past, sure.
So it's, we passed the torch. Kyrie to Damani, Nigel to Rob, things like that. So, yeah, but that's, he's a great kid. Really noticed that great kid, real good basketball player, hard worker, good student. Very proud of him, everything that he's done on, off the court, and everything.
And he's still one of the top rebounders in the USCAA, so he's still a pretty good player. I mean, the guy's averaging almost 8 rebounds a game for you, so he's still an important player.
Maybe 6'3", baby. And again, he just, what you need me to do, I'll do it.
No, Robert's definitely somebody we've had you on, I think, 3 or 4 times in the past, and he's always a name that comes up. That's why I wanted to start off with him. And certainly, I know we're going to win this for Robert and win the conference and go into the Nationals. But conversely, let me talk about another player who you got on the other end of it as a freshman and has really been a big contributor for you. And you recruited him also out of state from North Carolina. I mean, Coach, I know you got your eyes and ears everywhere, but Ahmad McKnight, I mean, here's a guy that's averaging over 10 a game, 8 rebounds, and, you're going to have him for a long time. I mean, I know you've had Kyrie, I know you've had Damani, and those guys were great, but Ahmad McKnight's a guy that I think a lot of us here at Five Towns are going to be excited for a really long time.
First off, Corey, Jack's our girls coach.
Yes.
He found Ahmad. So
you could have told me and said, yeah, I did it.
No,
Corey found him. Corey was at that.
Corey's the man, by the way. I want to give Corey a big shout. I spoke to Corey last week, and that's where he told me, well, I'm not coming on until after the season. I'm like, all right, no problem.
But Corey was at some camp somewhere, wherever he was over the summer. He says, Coach, I got a kid for you. 6'7", a good kid. I think he's got everything. I said, really, Corey? He goes, yeah, and he puts him right on the phone.
I actually could see that. I could see that because that's Corey. Because Corey called me literally, and that's what he does. He just calls you randomly. Yeah.
And here he is. Ahmad was exactly what we needed. Some size, some athleticism, rebounds the ball. He was, if I pieced it out, said, what do I need for Christmas? And someone like Ahmad was on the top of the list, and he's been everything that is. The same thing's getting better. He's better offensively than I thought he was going to be. He's still got some work to do on that end with that, but very, very intense. Plays the game hard. Very emotional. Sometimes with detriment, but not badly. He just cares too much. If he can play, that doesn't make sense. But he just
doesn't. He can't. I never heard that before, Coach.
Well, yeah. He just take a deep breath. Chill, settle down for a minute. But he's been fabulous. And helping out, robbing the boards, and then him coming in also gave the job for Philippe to get out of the 4 or 5 spot, and that we've been able to bump Philippe Jazelski up to the 3 hole, up to a 3 spot. So Philippe can play. Now I got a 6'5" kid on the perimeter, so that was a big bailout like that. So I can put Rob and Ahmad down low, and now Philippe, Philippe at 6'5" is my 3rd rebounder.
I was going to say, if Philippe last year was your either 1st or 2nd rebounder most of the time. So the fact that, and that was kind of the thing.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now he's playing the 3 a lot.
and that was kind of the thing I noticed from last year's team to this year's team is that, that was one of the things we struggled with was kind of that boxing out, that defensive, be able to get those loose balls. And we're doing a better job with that. And I think that goes back to the identity. When I asked you about the question of the identity of this team, I think we're starting to see maybe an identity that you've wanted here for a long time. Guys that can rebound, guys that can kind of mix and match, guys that can be able to rebound to get us out there in the open court and score those points. And speaking of that, obviously Jan Filip Jagielski. Jagielski we spoke about him before. He is obviously our Polish prince. He's certainly done a lot here in the program. Always an exciting player to talk about. And he's, again, at the top of a number of different categories here for the program. And, talk about Jan Jagielski, and certainly we look forward to, I'm sure, a big second half for him. And I think he'll be, again, one of our keys for us in order to win the HBIAC.
Fleet's having a good year. I think he likes being out on the wing more than playing down low.
He was getting double teamed a lot last year. He was really getting tight a lot. I remember watching those games.
And but again, he can do a little of everything. He can handle some. He can shoot it some. He's probably one of our better 3-point shooters. I don't know what the
percentages are, but he's
he
probably
shoots
up around that.
Because in the 30s. He's definitely in the 30s for you.
So he's okay. Fleet does everything.
And he's enjoying it, and he's a great student. I think breaking his chops because he wasn't a 4.0 this past semester. I think he was like 3.999 or something like that.
I'm sorry. Only
that's why I said I start calling him a slacker. But yeah, Fleet's having a real good year, and like I said, but he's been away. And we get back into that break part. So he's been away for 3 weeks. He went home to Poland, so it's not like he can come back and work out. So we got to get him going start tomorrow.
Do you tell him anything, or does he do anything to at least? I mean, it's kind of hard when you go over there and then come back here. I mean, do you say anything, or is there anything in particular that helps him come back to, recalibrate almost?
He works out with a trainer over there, his old trainer or stuff like that. Come on, they're 18 to 21-year-old kids that are on break. They're not going out at 6:30 in the morning and running 4 miles. I've had 3 kids too. I know. Yes, Dad. Okay, Coach. Yes, not going to happen. So, but they're young and they do it, and they'll just come back hit the floor running.
Listen, you know what? Listen, I have no doubt that he's going to have a big second half. He is a fun player to watch. He's a guy that can do a number of different things, and we're really, really excited about him. And, I got to bring up Tyler Bond, because here's another guy that does a lot for it. He's at the top. I think he's in the top 40 or top 50 in the USCA in scoring. He rebounds for you. He's all over the place. He's an excellent free throw shooter, but I think he's your best free throw shooter out there. And this is a guy you're going to have for a couple years. Now, I don't know if he's going to, be up there in the all-time, books at number 1 or 2 in scoring, but he's going to definitely, I think he's got a good chance to be right there with a Kyrie and a Damani for sure. And he's a big part of, I think, this team's success in the first half. And I have no doubt, Coach, that Tyler Bond is going to be an even bigger part of the success that we have in the second half.
Tyler's good.
He's a good player. I mean, I watched you guys a little bit this year. He's a good player to watch. He's one of those guys that I just want to pay attention to. Damani. When you had Damani last year, okay, pay attention to Damani. Damani has the ball. Just watch him. With him, Tyler, I think Tyler, it's like, okay, my eyes are just locked at him. Just look at him. Because this guy can do a lot of things, and this guy's fun.
Your basketball world
is a much better place when you have a really good point guard. And
oh yeah,
we have a really good point guard. His pull-up jump shot is phenomenal.
He worked on it all summer. He's in that gym every day.
Coach, watch it. One drill pull up. He misses one. I'm like
surprised now. And sometimes, whatever. He's not perfect, but sometimes I forget he's only a sophomore.
That's why I brought it up. You got him for 2 more years after this. That's my point. You've got him for 2 more years.
He gets it, and he is. I was talking about Rob as being the quiet leader. Tyler's one of. I don't know if he's. I'm big on captain. I don't know if he's official captain, not official captain. He's a captain on our team. We go off him. Go off him on the court, go off him off the court. He's a leader. He's a natural born leader. And to have that in your point guard is a double plus. He's great. You know, he didn't play our last 2 games. He was hurt. Now he's got a little not feeling too well right now. So I don't know if he's playing Saturday yet. I probably won't. But he's going to be fine. He's going to have a great second half. He's going to have a great career as long as he stays healthy. But
he's going to be a 1,000-point guy for you. He's going to be probably all-time leader in assist, and he's going to be up there in free throw percentage. I mean, this is a guy that I feel like in a lot of ways, tell me your thoughts on this, Coach, that for a point guard, he's got a certain personality, and he's kind of the prototype point guard you've been looking for here for all these years. You know, he certainly, he's vocal. He's also good with the ball. He can also shoot it. He can also get out there and rebound. He can play defense. I mean, this is kind of, I would think, for what you've been trying to build, going back off that identity, he's kind of the prototype guard you've been looking for here.
He's kind of like Jalen Brunson. He's our Jalen Brunson.
Yeah, it's a good analogy. Yeah,
he's out.
He can score 40 if he wants to, but doesn't have to. He can do different things other than that. Yeah, that's a Jalen Brunson.
He's not that good, of course, but he's that. He's our Jalen Brunson. He really is, and he gets it, and he's coachable. So yeah, Tyler's it, and he's the good thing though is that this isn't good enough for Tyler. Tyler's going to keep working. Whatever it is. I think he told me he's going to dunk one day. I think there's a better chance of me weighing 210 than him dunking.
I'm going to plead the fifth on that, Coach. I'm going to plead the fifth.
Whatever. I don't know if it was something he told me he was going to score 70. It's something he told me crazy one night. Okay. And I don't know if I want to take that bet against him. He's not a kid against. If he tells you he's going to do something, guess what? He's going to get it done. But yeah, he's going to keep working and improving. But and we're very, very lucky to have him.
Absolutely, and we hope that he certainly, gets well, and we see him on the court at the very least next weekend, and we're excited about what we'll see all time with him in the program. And I have to bring up also another guy who I believe is just under 20 a game, and I think is just outside the top 30 in scoring. I'm talking about Ian Williams. I mean, here's a guy that, in his sleep. I know you had Damani, you had Kyrie, but this is almost like the next generation of those scorers. Those guys certainly spoke for themselves, but you got one of the best, not just in the HVIAC, but now you got one of the best in the nation in Ian Williams.
Well, if you can see it, my few gray hairs I have.
Yeah.
Well, you got more hair maybe than Facina does.
The gray ones that you see, I'd like to thank Ian for the gray hair. They're all for Ian. Ian's up there, yeah. Ian sees this. I'm sure Ian's gonna know it because I think I told that before. Ian has times when he's on the court where he's by far the best player on the court. I mean, he has times where he just takes over games. That's it.
He's a guy that can go on a 10, 12-point run and just that's it. Okay, get out of the way. Just get him the ball.
It's his game. It's. This is my game, and welcome to it, you 9 people. But I guess it's foolish of me to think I could get that all the time. So, but he's just got to find his minutes, and instead of shutting down at times, just have confidence. He's great. He's been great. He's been fabulous this year. He's been great. He's grown up a lot. On and off the court over his 3 years here. Real proud of him, of that point, of what he's done, and all that. He's getting better. I think he gets frustrated in himself sometimes. He gets frustrated in his teammates at time, which that has gotten better. Where it used to just blow his mind, where he does take a time off. But having those two, Ian and Tyler in the backcourt, I'll take my guards with most guards that we played. I'll take my 2 guards with any other 2 guards and be kind of happy with what I got.
You know, it's funny though that you said that as we're speaking here with the head coach of the Five Town Sound men's basketball team, Gregg. Drzal. Obviously, the guys are going to be back in action here at home this Saturday against Fisher College. They're going to be at home also the following Saturday against Word of Life, and then back on the road the 27th at Bucks Community College. When you have a player that knows he's as good as he is, and you have players that are obviously trying to maybe do the things that he would want. What do you say to someone like that who obviously I remember, not this to this level, I remember playing basketball with somebody like this, and it was kind of like they would yell at you on the court. They were very like animated. You knew you weren't as good as them, but you were trying to obviously do the best you could out there. But what do you say, or even if Skip or Roy, do they say anything in particular to him to kind of like, let's say, maybe understand or just know that, it's a team game and everybody is obviously trying to get to the goal at hand, which is to win the game and obviously to be, better players, to build that identity for what you're looking for?
Yeah, it's an ongoing thing. I think it's with everyone.
Every kid that way. Don't get down on yourself, your teammates. But he's
come tenfold over so much better. It's just he's a really good player.
That's the point. You're
a really good player. We need you. We're going to make a mistake. Don't worry about it. I got your back. I have all the confidence in the world.
He gets down on himself more than anyone else, really, than anything.
He doesn't have to. I said, we trust you. We got you. Yeah, he's fine. He's having a great year. And the nice thing is, I kind of have 2 point guards. Like I said,
you have a two-headed monster there almost.
I mean, even though
Ian's playing a lot of 2 this year, but we've had times they'll change it midstream on the court.
Hey, Tyler, you take the one. I'll run some 2 now. Okay, they don't even tell me. I just see what happens,
and I'm fine with it. But I'm fine with it. Yeah, but you know what? I'm fine with it. And they play
go well together. I mean, they're friends
off the court too. They
kind of know right hand, left hand. They know what the other one's going to do, and it's a nice little thing. I'm just there watching the ride sometimes with the 2 of them. That's all right, guys. Go do what you do.
Guys, if you hear this, I'm not laughing at you. I'm obviously laughing at what Coach is saying because I find it. Because again, Coach certainly, if he wants to, would have an excellent career in stand-up comedy. Obviously, we love him at the court. We love him here at Five Towns. We don't want him to try that circuit on Long Island, but certainly if he wanted to, it's there. But let me ask you real quick on a couple of other players here. Also, you've got a few other players. Hunter Waldman's played some big minutes for you. You got Tyler Grant. Talk about them because they've also provided, especially Tyler, because Tyler you've had in the rotation for a little bit, and he's provided you some big minutes. So talk to me about those players and what they add, kind of the depth of the team, I think, especially we're going to need those type of guys in the second half. If, again, where we want to go is the USCAs, is guys like Tyler Grant and Hunter Waldman. Talk to me about them.
Yep, Tyler Grantillo, he's our defensive specialist. He comes in and
he brings energy. He brings it.
He's the perfect guy coming off the bench. He's diving on floors, picking up charges.
He loves to play defense. He can't.
He starts salivating. If a guy scores
a couple points, he's like grabbing at me to get in the game.
And that energy helps him practices.
It brings out everything.
Hunter's a
transfer from ESF.
Hunter can shoot. Hunter can shoot. That's what we have him for.
So
he's a specialist for you.
Well, that's what we tell him. You got those 2 guards who people have a hard time guarding. So,
and I think Hunter's your leading 3-point shooter, if I'm not mistaken. I think he leads you in threes.
Probably. I would guess he does. I don't know. I don't look at that.
I look at the number.
I understand.
I really don't.
But yeah, he can shoot. Hunter's job is when because Ian and Tyler are going to beat their man. They're going to beat their man. So you go find a spot and they'll find you. And both of them, both Tyler and Hunter, team guys. They're not starting. They probably could play more minutes at other places. Appear to be happy. They've been a great addition to what's going on. And then rounding it out,
like I told you, all these tight games that we played, and I had 2 freshmen on bench, Donald Darby and Markel Foster. Pretty good players. They're just freshmen.
And you've had them in the rotation some games. I think they played a few games for you each.
So, but they're freshmen, and it's I always say there's a big difference when you come out of high school and then come to college level because it's. I try to say just
think of how you were a freshman in high school. Could you imagine playing on the varsity? No,
you're at that level again. So everything's happening faster, and everyone's a little bigger and stronger, but they're coming. And they're both gonna, I don't know how much they'll coming out of the break.
Well, they're hurting. They're gonna get a chance to play right now, but they're both. I'm really, really excited about both of them,
and more so, this year, of course, but even more so in the future
for the 2 of them.
Yeah, I think those are guys, you know what, let's say a Tyler's injured, can't play. Those guys could step in there and provide some valuable minutes. So, at the end of the day, I think it shows also you've always talked about depth. As long as I've known you, you always talked about depth. You always talked about those practice players. You always talked about how every minute is crucial. And these are the moments where guys like this, Hunter and Tyler Grant, are going to go out there and be able to prove that they can be valuable players and help this team to where we need to be. So maybe on the stat sheet, the numbers don't eye pop at you as much as, let's say, an Ian, even a Robert Williams defensively, Yagelski, certainly Tyler Bond, but they're going to have their chance here to play some minutes because we are going to play a lot of games in February. I know the schedule, again, I kind of complained and vented about it, but in February, you guys are playing a couple times a week throughout the entire month. So there's a lot of basketball ahead, and these guys have an opportunity to kind of showcase themselves. And I guess then I kind of wanted to segue then. Obviously, we know that when this team wins, we hit our free throws. We know when this team wins, we limit our turnovers. So what do you say coming into the break when we play all these games coming up to kind of improve our free throws? Because we know we shoot 70 for the year. The magic number in our 5 wins is almost every game we hit, except for the new school game. We're going to leave that out there. But in the other wins, we hit over 70 from the free throw line. So we know that's the magic number, and 20 turnovers. So how do we kind of keep those numbers in line for what we need in order to, again, have that big second half and go into the USCAA?
Free throws are good. We're good. We're good shooters.
That's fine. That's a good number. I know a couple kids missed the. I'm not even concerned about that. We're good. Tyler's over 90%.
Tyler's one of the best in the country. I mean, Tyler's I could close my eyes and he hits him.
And I don't know what Ian's number is, but I know Ian missed some early, which was unlikely, but I have no problem sticking Ian on the foul line at the end of a game.
Yagelski's almost 80. I think Yagelski's very good.
So you just think at the end of the game,
they're going to be having the ball in their hands. So that's why you're going to make them. So that's,
you're in trouble if you have a guard who doesn't shoot them well. Okay, so that's not a concern. The turnovers is that 20 is way too much. Right? That's got to
be cut in half.
But a lot of games this year, I know
you're not how we play. I know it's how we play, and we play fast, and we want to push. But that's when we put the number up on the board every day. We want to go 2-to-1 turnovers to assists. And then I tell the guys, if we can go 2-to-1 turnover assists and we can be plus on rebounding, we're going to be in the game. And it happened all the time.
5 minutes ago, you are in that. You have those 2 numbers there for us, the way we play.
With 2-to-1 turnovers to assists, and we are like even or plus a couple rebounds, you are in that game. And so those are really the 2 numbers that we look at all the time. That's the 2 things. And a couple of other defensive numbers. We like,
we don't want we want to keep someone under 30% from 3.
Down in the 20s, which is also our big defensive number. So
those are the 3 things that we look at all the time.
Those 3 numbers. If we get those 3 numbers, we're gonna be fine.
No doubt about that, and we're very excited about what's to come in the second half. And I guess kind of the obvious question as we segue into the second half of the show toward the end of it, and I pretty much know the answer, but I'll still have to ask because you come on every year or every other year, and I ask you the same question this time of year. What are the goals for 24?
Win the tournament.
Figure that. I had to ask it to you. I had to ask you the obvious one because I asked.
Well, let me change that. First, you got to get in the tournament.
Okay.
First, you got to make the tournament.
Okay.
Then win the tournament. That's it. Simple.
Okay. And I guess And I guess to slightly detour for a second, goals of 24. I know in a interest of yours for 2024, a goal would be for the Yankees maybe to get one more starting pitcher.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up.
I was looking to work that in there. You liked how I did that.
Now you're gonna get me started. Hold on.
Hold
on.
Uh-oh.
See, no BS. I got my World Series thing here. See it?
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
That's a good one. That's
when we beat the
Mets.
Mets.
That was nice. That was a good one, Coach. That was a good one.
So now,
I didn't want to spend all that money on
Yamamoto. So
I feel like to spend money on somebody that hasn't proven it in the major leagues and to give him that long term of a deal. I'm like, I don't know if I'd want to do that.
I don't know who's out. I don't know about Snell either.
Snell's only had 2 years. He won the Cy Young twice, but the rest of his career, and he walks too many guys. 99 walks in 180 innings.
So I don't know. I don't know who's out. I don't know who we could get.
Wait a minute. Not a Long Island guy in Marcus Stroman? You don't want Marcus Stroman?
No.
Why not? Didn't he want to be a Yankee a few years back? He was like, trade me to the Yankees. It was a Blue Jay. No?
I think so. Sure, we could take him.
I don't think that's the make or break for them. Marcus Stroman's going to put them over the top.
I don't
think that's the one that's, hey, we got him. Hey, I'm going. They get Stroman, I'm going to buy my World Series tickets tomorrow. I don't think so. He's our 5th starter. Great.
He's a 5 starter, 4
starter.
Yeah, I mean, if Rodon comes back, I would say You paid him all that money. I mean, you gotta hope Rodon comes back and pitches something to what the back of his baseball card was, I guess.
Do you trust that? You feel good about that?
Personally, I don't after what I saw. But what else are my options right now? I mean,
I don't like him
too. It looks like he got a little eaten up by the crowd too. That game out in
St. Louis, yeah.
In St. Louis, Anaheim. Where was it? Yeah, when he.
No. It was in Los Angeles. Correct. It was Los Angeles.
And the 100 Yankee fans that would booed him and he's flipping them the bird.
Yes, that was Los Angeles. Yes.
Yeah, what are you going to do with the Bronx?
So he,
but you sure you don't want Stroman? I know Stroman.
That has a Edwitz and a Sonny Gray on it.
We'll come back to the team in a few minutes.
I'm taking a 5th on that question, okay?
Okay, good. I just want to say that on Stroman, though, the back of his baseball card, despite what maybe people think off the field, except for 1 year in his career, he's always been like a 3rd starter, maybe even a number 2 at times. He's been good. I mean, Met fans certainly have their opinions like myself about it, but the facts are on the field. Stroman produces, and there is very few names out there on the market. Jordan Montgomery is out there. I don't know. Clayton Kershaw is not going to come to the Yankees. He's a West Coast guy. I mean, so what are your options out there in the market? Blake Snell, I agree with you. Too much money. Don't trust him. I mean, Stroman to me is a local guy. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm not saying the Yankees make the move, but
you sign Montgomery.
Yeah, I would sign Montgomery. I don't know if Montgomery wants to come back here, but yeah, I would be fine with Montgomery. Middle of the that's the perfect middle of the rotation, back end of the rotation guy. I just think the Yankees need one more. I just think they need one more starter.
Montgomery's a lefty too.
The only thing I could think of real quick is maybe the Yankees are going to try to make a trade. Milwaukee's talked about, trading their starting pitchers. The Marlins always sell. I mean, so, maybe that's kind of the way to go. I mean, I don't know if that's the thing, but I think the Yankees, listen, off season, listen, you got Soto, you obviously hope Judge is healthy again. Whatever you get from Stanton, it's still a very, very competent lineup. I think the lineup bounces back. It's a matter of, in fact, I would even say one more thing on the Yankees real quick, and I want to ask you your thoughts. Maybe if you don't even get a Snell, maybe even if you don't get a Montgomery, what about just going and getting bullpen help? Josh Hader's available, David Robertson. Why not try for the almost like these fortify your bullpen? Nobody pitches more than 5 innings anymore anyway these days. Right. Why not bring back Robertson? Maybe bring back Hader, get him on a multi-year deal. A Hader or a Robertson might take his 39, maybe takes a 1 or 2 year deal. I mean, what do you say to that?
I'm on board with that. I would definitely take Robinson back.
Robertson's good. Listen, the Mets team was really good. He's proven. He was with the Marlins was good last year with them. Yep.
6 innings now. They lead 6.
You put 2 runs, you go 2 or 3 runs in 6 innings, and it's a
Lock in the
quality
bullpen.
start.
Listen, think about it. You get Robertson in there. You put maybe even you go and say maybe I want to bring in Josh Hader. There's a lot of people out there bullpen wise. So maybe the bullpen market's waiting to see what happens with starting pitchers, like a Snell, like a Montgomery. But
I load up the pen, man.
Load it up.
I agree with that.
Well, we're gonna certainly find out here as we're here on Sportswire Radio for another few more minutes here with, of course, Coach Gregg Drzal. The guys are getting ready to be back in action here this Saturday against Fisher College. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce here, and if you want to follow the 5-Town Sound Athletics program, Instagram 5towns_sound, sound on. And for more information on the men's basketball team, we've put the link here below. And also, I want to give a big plug because I'm on the air tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time, with a coach from the U.S. Amputees women's soccer team. It's a really, really cool one. Paige Palazzo. Paige has been around here in the coaching scene on Long Island, Westchester, in the tri-state area for over 10 years. She also has had a decorated career as a player. She played semi-pro out there for Queensborough's football club, and she's played out there for the New York Magic. She's played for the Gotham FC. She's really had a decorated career. She's also doing some coaching with the women's football teams out there, women's football national teams, and she's also really, really somebody that's got a really decorated career kind of in just, soccer in general, understands the game of athletics. She also is a social worker, a licensed social worker. Really, really excited to have her here and kind of to share her journey on Sportswire Radio. Kind of something different here. We speak all the time on Sportswire Radio, all these big wrestlers, and we speak with all people like yourself, the stand-up comedian type coaches, but we have somebody here in Paige Palazzo who's going to be here tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time on all Sportswire Radio platforms, including YouTube at Sportswire Radio 6579 backspace streams. You can follow Coach Palazzo at Paige Pal. That's Paige Pal on Instagram. I want to thank Coach Jason Facina, of course, your colleague at 5-Town Sound here, the men's soccer coach, for giving me this opportunity to speak with Paige and share her journey. What a story. She's played overseas. She's coached overseas. She's been in Italy. She's been all over the place here in the United States. And again, a really, really great story about coaching the amputee team here, for the national team here, for the women's amputee. Just a really, really cool story. And I'm looking forward to speaking with her tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. All right. So obviously, as we're coming toward the end of the show here, I have to ask you, overall, is there one or two keys for this team going forward you're paying attention to most?
Our health.
That's good to know. Good to know. Good to know.
Today, I'm concerned about our health, and it's it. Just keep getting better. That's really it. Like
I said, let's pick up where we left off. It's going to take a week or two, and I think we'll be okay.
I'm looking forward to the end of the year. Not the end of the year, but the coming season, coming second part of the season. I call it another season.
I didn't call it second.
Yeah,
half.
it's so weird. It's so weird because of the 31-day layoff. And then again, you guys only play 3 times in the month of January. Usually now you'd expect to play at least twice a week. It's either you're a Tuesday, Saturday league, or you're a Wednesday, Sunday league, or you're Tuesday, Friday. But you're only playing 3 times in January. Then it picks up. Certainly it picks up again in February, where you play a lot of those games. And, I could obviously see where you're going with that. So I have to ask you, because I have to mention your staff, because I always feel like every year I mention your staff. You have to talk to me about Skip. You have to talk to me about Roy and how helpful they've been.
Well, Skip's not here this year, Tommy. Skip
Relocated to Texas. So
Well, that's our athletics department for still listing him as a coach. So that certainly has to be.
Skip is always with us.
Okay.
I want him there. Skip
is always with us, and Roy's Roy, man.
I know that Roy.
Roy's the best. Roy's our defensive guy. There are a couple practices I missed, and I heard stories about what happened. I said, "There's my kid. There's my boy," Roy, because I had Roy in high school.
I know we spoke about that many times. Yeah, of course.
And Roy's
feeling more comfortable now coaching, and he's getting more vocal, which I love. I love
you
it.
do.
I love it. He's a big help.
I love when you're on the sidelines and you get animated in games. I would just love to be a fly on the wall in those games.
I don't think you'd want to.
I do.
I don't.
Oh, no, Coach. We do a lot of wrestling on Sportswire, and guys, they sometimes actually really get at it, actually. So I would love to see it, actually. Yeah. We've actually had guys attack one another live on the show. So I would love to be a fly on the wall and see you out there and get animated.
We have a couple parents that sit right behind
a bench, and I think
God.
I apologize before the game for what I say during the game.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard that before, but that's a good one. I might have to use that when I say something, because I got in trouble 2 weeks ago on the air. I said something about somebody. I went on a 20-minute tirade, kind of like you would have been proud of it. And I think I probably should have said that beforehand.
I'm proud of what I do. No, I'm not proud of it. No, I'm not proud of it. So,
one of my funny stories ever is I was having one of my mental breakdowns during a game, and I walked to the end of the bench and I getting some water. And I just look up, and I look out of the corner of an eye. My oldest son is in the stands, and he's looking at me, and he's like trying not to laugh. And I look at him like, "What?" And he goes, "You do this for fun, right?"
Listen, what you should do. Listen, if it comes to it, just put the towel in the mouth. Put the towel.
Yeah. So now. That's a line I use when I walk
back to the bench and I see some of the parents. I'll lay them, look at that as they after a mental meltdown. I'll look at them and go, I do this for fun, right? And they just, So.
Well, I was certainly excited about that. I obviously said it facetiously.
Let me tell you, all coaches are demented in the head in different ways. So.
Yeah, I was watching a game. I don't want to say what team it was, what coach, because they've come on the show in the past, and certainly I thought they were going to actually put the ref in a chokehold. I don't want to say who it was, because somebody will look up and go back on the tape. They'll know the game I'm referring to if they're certainly fans of Sportswire. Before I ask you one more question, I have to ask you, Coach Matejko, how's Coach Matejko doing?
Doing good.
I hear.
Here's a shock. He's
winning.
Wow. I'm not surprised on that. Listen, I don't want to. Yeah, I'm not going to get on that rant, but I mean, I heard that through the grapevine. Yep.
Yeah. I don't talk to him as much as I like to or used to. I just
actually talked to him this morning.
Okay.
He's doing well.
I see him on Facebook from time to time, and I usually see him there. Usually.
Well, I haven't seen him play this year. I saw him
play last year, and he's definitely getting them a lot of what he's been given. He's
coaching basketball and doing
well at a non-basketball school. I think,
yep. That's what he did with St. Joe's. That's what he did here. I mean, that's what he does,
Yeah, he's no surprise. He's quality guy, quality coach. So
what's the knock me over?
Not a shot. Yeah, listen, coach is coach. Yeah. I just had to get a Coach Matejko message in there, because obviously we love Coach, and Coach has meant so much to us here on Sports.
Get his butt back on.
You know what? I should, because we have this thing now called the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame, and I was actually thinking about this. I Coach be very humble. I don't think he'd want to be in, but I think he would certainly should be in my Hall of Fame. I mean, we have this Hall of Fame. We gotta get you in there. Maybe you want to get in there after the season. You want to get inducted? You want to get in there?
No, you don't. You have to be retired for a couple of years before.
No. Listen, Jason Guardioso basically said, I want to be the first coach inducted. So I was saying, there's people active that they actually want to be in this Hall of Fame. I have people message me from all over the world and said that have been on the show for the past 5 years. They said, hey, you're starting the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Can I get in? I'm like, all right, yeah. I mean, I've actually had people that basically give me their resumes from when they've come on the show. I'm like, I know you are. You've been on Sportswire. It's okay. So I mean, if you want to get in, we'd love to have you. If you don't want to get in, we can wait till you win the USCAs after the season.
I'll wait till I retire so that I can
give a really good unfiltered speech.
Oh, I would love, you're speaking my language. That's what we have here on Sportswire with all the wrestlers. Guys go off the hip and they basically go unfiltered, uncensored. So you know what? I like that. So you'll win the USCAs a few times. You go out there.
No, it's when I retire.
Okay, all right. So you know what? We've got a ways to go. We've got a ways to go for it. We've got about 20 years for that. Yeah. So let's get you 20 more years in. Let's obviously where Five Towns can build that statue. Listen, you know what? Maybe they couldn't build that statue in the Danzies for Matejko. Maybe they'll build that statue for Drzal. Maybe they'll build that one, out there in Dix Hills.
They're going to give me a urinal.
Well, you know what? I'm going to plead the fifth on that comment, because Dr. Code and Mr. Gershio will be listening to this one. So I'm going to say
that. That's fine. I'm very humble. I'll take it.
I like the vending machine better. Let's name a vending machine.
I'll go with that.
I like the vending machines. But obviously I know
vending machines, but maybe we'll
fair enough. I could ask you a lot. I know you got get ready for practice, and you guys can get ready for Saturday's game. So I want to give you the floor now, Coach. Anything else you want to plug, share, or say? And I hope to have you back after the season so we can kind of recap how you guys won the Hudson Valley Intercollegiate Athletic Conference and how you guys won in the USCA. So I hope to give you the floor now, some closing thoughts, and anything else you may want to plug.
Nothing to plug, buddy. Just let's get healthy. Everybody have a happy, healthy new year. And
hopefully we're here after we win a championship.
I would love to have you here after March. Absolutely. Because, Corey's going to come on here. And Corey was like, I really think I can win it this year. So I just want to let you know, I know I came on, after what happened last year, but now I'm waiting. He's like, I'm pulling the Facina. I'm like, all right, if you're pulling the Facina, I'll give you that much. All right, if you want to.
You know what I'd love to do? I'd like to come on with Corey so then I don't have to talk because I know he'll talk the whole time.
I'm going to plead the fifth further on that because I just had recently. No, I'm going to plead the fifth because Corey, I actually did have a long conversation with Corey last week off the air.
Did you get to talk?
I did actually because, I actually can, certainly talk. I can't overpower Corey's basketball skills, but I can certainly on the talking end, I can certainly go toe to toe there. But I'll obviously say that, I would love to do it. You know what? Before we let you go, I think it'd be an excellent idea if we could have the two of yous on after the season because you know what? Go ahead.
Me and Corey haven't spoken in 6 months.
I mean, if there's
why?
Because you're trying to win a championship and so is he.
Because he won't shut up.
Oh, I was going to say it's because of the superstition. But you know what? I'll say this. I would love to do that after, we were talking about Jason and Jeff doing it, and I was supposed to come to camp for the soccer teams in the summer, but unfortunately, I had a really bad stomach virus. And then in October, I thought I had COVID, but I went to the doctor. They're like, no, you're actually more sick than COVID. I had a virus. I couldn't shake for like a month. So I wanted to obviously, interview the guys in person, but I couldn't do it. So I hope that this time in March, right around now, in about 2 months from now, we can have you and Corey on. You guys will be celebrating those Hudson Valley Intercollegiate Athletic Conference championships, talk about the USCA national championship wins, and we'll do all that here in March. And I look forward to that. It's a great idea because we're going to have Jason and Jeff on when I go up to campus, hopefully in August, and we'll see all that. But in the meantime, I want people to follow the 5 Towns Town Athletics program on Instagram. Check them out. Also, the athletics department's men's basketball team has the link here. I put also the guys will be in action this Saturday against Fisher. They're back at home the following Saturday against Word of Life conference play, but conference play begins once again. And the guys will be back here on the road the 27th to close the month of January at Bucks Community College before a slew of games are ahead in February. Coach, Happy New Year. Thankfully, you've been back on after a long delay. I know it's been worth it for you as much as it's been for me, and I can't wait to have you back on after you win some championships in March with Coach Jocks, and I look forward to seeing you here soon. And sound on, sound on.
All right, Tommy, thank you.